Okay, guys. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. The tea was not ready yet, and I was gathering some other things to show you guys. So, have no fear, here we are. Alas, the Saturday morning live stream here at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Northern Indiana, Zone 5/6. I'm not even going to say Zone 5B, 6A. That doesn't even really matter anymore. Because it's kind of changing. That's what I'm hearing from a lot of you guys. Hello, Mick. Good to see you. Hello, Malcolm. It's kind of changing. You know, the zones are changing. So if you guys are watching this after the fact or whatever, let us know where you're viewing from, okay? And what you have just planted. All right, this is important, guys, because a lot of new subscribers to the channel, a lot of new people, a lot of people are under the assumption that you just plant your stuff and in the springtime and then that's it. And then you let it go and then, oh, okay, well, you have a growing season. And that's true for some people. For our northern, the true north brethren, that can be true for them. But for those of us in the fake north or in the south, you have much more time than that, okay? So so let us know in the comments, either here or after the fact, where you're at and what you are growing now. So especially if you have experience, if you're like, well, I'm in Connecticut and I just planted peas 1 week ago and I know that they will do good or whatever. Because I just planted stuff from seed not that long ago, guys. If you watched the last video that I made about the season is not over, so the season's not over. And I tell you all kinds of stuff that I have planted. And so that you want to check that out because here's the thing, guys. Once the growing season is over, it is actually over. So like here in Northern Indiana, once the season is over, that's it. We're not growing anything. You know, I hear people talking about, oh, I grow these over the winter and I like to overwinter these. And no, nothing. You're not growing anything over the winter here without heated greenhouse. You know, because remember, guys, even a greenhouse, everyone thinks, oh, I got a greenhouse now. A greenhouse is just a season extender for your cold hardy stuff. It doesn't give you a whole new season unless it is a heated greenhouse. And so, you know what I mean? So don't be under the illusion that if you have a little greenhouse or something, that's going to somehow allow you to grow all winter long. For some zones, it can. But here, no way, because the nights when it's -5 degrees Fahrenheit or something, or when it's 0 or when it's 10 degrees Fahrenheit for days on end, nothing is going to grow. You know, it doesn't matter how cold hardy this stuff is, it's not growing. So you want to get it in now, guys. You want to get it in now and save what you can and preserve it, ferment it, all this good stuff. So hello, Pam. Hello, Malcolm. South Africa, Karoo region. I can plant anything. Tomorrow I'm planting Aztec corn and pumpkin. Well, isn't that nice for you? You can plant anything all the time. So let us all give Malcolm a round of applause. No, that would be really nice, actually, if we could plant stuff year round. When I lived in Humboldt County, we could plant stuff year round, which was amazing. And that's nice. But, you know, here in Northern Indiana, I'm really not, it doesn't bother me like it used to, the winters and stuff, because there's like a season, distinct, different seasons. How many of you guys appreciate the seasons? And there's distinct different season. Like the summertime, we can get southern type summers where it's hot and humid and stuff and oppressive heat. You know, we have that blazing summertime. So you really got this intense summer. But then the winter time we can get northern winters as well, you know, so it can be cold the whole winter long, just below freezing the whole winter long. And, you know, with snow and cloud cover and all that kind of stuff, the days are short. And I kind of appreciate that. It's the break. I kind of appreciate the break from growing, the break from all of that. And you kind of go within. And especially now with the sauna and the cold training that I'm doing all the time, that has totally transformed the winter for me. I mean, totally transformed the winter. So yeah, I actually don't see myself when I'm thinking of getting the land. I actually see myself I used to think, no, it has to be like in Humboldt or Northern California or someplace where it doesn't get this cold and stuff. But now, after spending several years back here, I've warmed up to it, because then once the summer comes, it's like, all right, game on. You got a full on, you're refreshed from the wintertime, and you boom, grow everything that you can, store it all, and then boom, it's all done. And then you've got several months where there's nothing. Ooh, RK says hibernating. That's a pretty good one. Jeremy Ransom says San Diego. Seasons, early summer, late summer, and next summer. Yeah, that's nice. But see, for me, like I just was saying, I couldn't live like that. I couldn't live there. It was, kind of like it was pushing it in Northern California when the 6-month dry period, because it rains for 6 months there pretty much. And then it's dry, bone dry for 6 months. And there's not even clouds and stuff. So it's like, that gets old to me, And I lived in Thailand for some time, and Greece. Oh, definitely Greece. During the summer, I was there for the summer months, 4, 5, 6 months. And I did that twice, 2 seasons. And it's just full on sun every single day. I mean, a lot of people just love that. Yeah, it's so nice. They're just out there bathing in the sun and stuff. But me, no, I need the clouds, the cloud cover. There's something about the biology, the way I'm hardwired and stuff. I just, it depresses me if there is too much sun. So, Scott Miller says, question, Nate, what zone will your homestead be in? Not entirely sure yet. But I'm definitely warming up to the area of Indiana, Michigan, sort of something like that. I'm warming up to that area. Warming up, but I don't know yet. I don't yet know. So we're still chiseling all of that out, my friends. Elizabeth Hendricks, hello, my friend. Yes, look at this beautiful gift Elizabeth has sent me. And this is, if you guys remember last week, I showed you the silverware that I had scored from Facebook Marketplace. And guys, you always want real silverware because the element of silver is very beneficial. I mean, people back then, they knew what they were doing with the silver in the silverware. And so I showed you guys a score that I got. This lady's mother, Nancy, it was her wedding gift in 1961. And it's like pristine condition. So I got it. And then Elizabeth, one of you guys, sent me this, among a couple of other pieces, but this is really nice. This is like a carving, and it's Community. It's the same brand as the one that I have from 1961. And so I really like it. It kind of says Viking, yeah? They're nice and heavy. They're real, the real deal. I know it's supposed to be like a carving set, but I'm feeling it just as the fork and knife for steak eating. This is perfect. So this will go to use. Thank you, my friend. Very thoughtful of you. Lisa T, $5. Thank you, my friend. Says, thanks, Nate. Yes, you are very welcome. Thank you for being here, guys. Malcolm says, I love the winter too. Val says, at Garden Like a Viking. Hey, Nate, how do you overwinter ginger? Yeah, that is the thing, isn't it? I actually have not overwintered ginger. So this winter will be the first. I'm going to try it because I get so many questions from you guys about that. So I actually don't have any experience with it. I have heard that you can just uproot it, put it into a pot, and bring it inside. Now, I can't say that for sure because I haven't done it. So this winter, I will uproot it and bring it inside. And I think you have to trim the tops off. I would imagine, but we'll see. Yeah, so I'm gonna try and overwinter it. But guys, the ginger that is in the Grant says, "Yep, we have seen the steaks you eat. Carving set suits you." Yes, he's talking about the cooking videos, guys. Have no fear, I am not vegan by any means, but meat, good, grass-fed, free-range, 100% pastured, ethically treated kind of meat is just wonderful for the body and for the, it just feels so good and natural. To me, it digests so easily, but then I supplement it with all kinds of not supplement, but it goes with it. All kinds of homegrown goodness, guys. The garlic, the onions, the potatoes, the peas, the mushrooms, which I'm going to show you guys in a minute. You know, fermenting, all this other good stuff. So it's all part of it, guys. That's the human diet, in my experience. So let us see here. There was the Malcolm Stark, Czar 140 Czars. Thank you. Says, no reason, just supporting the channel. Well, thank you very much, my friend. And that is perfectly acceptable. Don't need a reason, just some people love to contribute to something that they feel is worthwhile. And a lot of you have been doing that. So I have to say thank you very much. Let me just go ahead and take this opportunity to read the list because there's a lot of new guys to the party. So thank you guys. These are just a short list of the people that have in the last month donated to the PayPal account using the link in the description. Because remember guys, I don't take sponsorships or anything. I don't, in the videos, I don't go, but before we get started, today I'd like to thank our sponsor and then go into a 1.5-minute long rant about some sponsor. That's just not really what I'm feeling like the energy of the channel is like, you know, and I don't foresee me ever doing that, really. So that being said, you still have to get money from somewhere. So thank you guys. Thank you to Lincoln D. Thank you for the arrowhead as well. Ivan U. Show from San Jose. Thank you, my friend. Donald H. Thanks again. Mish the Fish, of course. Thank you so much for the continued support, both financially and also energetically. Energetically is so important. Inspiration, reciprocating inspiration is very important. Donald Hall. Lorenz P, Renvig K from Norway, Nelson C from Houston, Deanna M, Paul K, Paul K said, hey, that pump that you recommended from the link in the description is the bomb, he says. And he just wanted to let me know that. And yes, it really is, guys. It's a little bit pricey. It's a pricey pump, but you get what you pay for. This pump, I put a link in the description, is amazing. I mean, my whole life used to be like pumps in Northern California, running them on generators, watering and transferring nutrients and all that. So I know pumps, and this one is fantastic. It really is. So glad that you found it useful, Paul, and thank you for the contribution. Deirdre R, we had a consultation. Thank you very much. Venice W from Queensland, John B, Viper Advanced, of course, Ron S, Renee W, and Tara S, Keith C, who says, Nate, we have binge watched the Travel Like a Viking channel, and we really are looking forward to more videos coming for the Travel Like a Viking channel. Are there going to be more? Yes, my friend. We're almost approaching the time when all the storm of preserving and doing all the garden stuff is finished, and I will then be able to make the travel videos and begin writing the book. So Chad A, Megan K, Brenda K, Elizabeth T, Elizabeth H also, of course, Jacqueline or Jaqueline I, who says, I am 73 years old and I'm just now getting into KNF and Jadam and organic farming for the first time, so thank you. You're very welcome. Guys, if you want to send anything to me, you can go Garden Like a Viking at P.O. Box 9101, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46899. Okay? So, look at this. William Slater says, Travel Like a Viking. I'm not sure how I feel about that as someone with English ancestry. Nice. Yes. Minus the pillaging part, but the spirit of exploration is still alive and well. Yes, alive and well, my friends. So, let's see here. Scott Miller says, missed the last 2 lives, had a tragedy, almost finished my gifts made of horn. That would be cool. That would be super cool. So I hope the tragedy is healing or has healed or whatever it is. Malcolm Stark says 140 Czar is about 8 doll hairs. Czar is Zuid-Afrikaanse Rand. Okay, South Africa. South African, okay. South African Czars. Very good. Thank you, Malcolm. Mobius says Viking equals Fjallraven. Fjallraven. Alexander says, Nate, do you have some ideas about symphylin's control? Yes, I do, actually. And I wasn't sure how to. I had to kind of take a break from Instagram and making those shorts and all that kind of stuff because it just Instagram, and the shorts, and it's just different. So it's like I took a couple week break from making all that. I'm going to start all that back up again. But, sometimes you just have to kind of just think about your health, you know what I mean? And your time, your energy reserves. So yes, that's saying that I wanted to make a video showing. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to do it, but so you guys saw the symphyllins, right? The video, the short that I made showing a gardener's worst nightmare. And all the stuff online says that they're incurable, that you can't cure them. Once you get them, it's just kind of like a death sentence. All you can do is rototill your this is what they say. Contact your county extension office, yada yada. They say, well, you have to rototill until the whole soil structure is collapsed. And then you have to compact the soil so that the symphyllins can't move about in the soil, because the symphyllins, I don't even know if I'm saying those right. I'm going to keep saying it different every time, just out of comic relief. So the symphyllins, they attack or they infest soil with really good structure. So that's why they're a worst nightmare, because they eat the roots of the developing plants, and they only infest the soil that has really good structure, that has lots of organic matter, that has nice air channels. Sound familiar? This is my soil. This is our soil. If you're doing these practices from the channel, then you also will be having soil like this. Nice and fluffy and friable, full of aggregates, lots of airways. Water doesn't pool. Water immediately goes down and drains into it. Whereas that's not natural for the farmlands and stuff around here. No. So that's what the symphyllin attacks. Now, it eats the roots of the developing plant. If you haven't already, then go back and watch the short that I made, A Gardener's Worst Nightmare. And you will see, I pull the plant. I had a eggplant that just sat there. And for like a month, it didn't do anything. And see, all my other plants, like, boom, they love to grow. And so these plants in this area were not doing anything. And I was like, oh man, I can just tell. I can tell immediately that, all right, this is not happy. And so on camera, I pulled it up, and sure enough, boom, there was some tiny little white symphyllins that were eating the roots, the growing tips of the new roots. And so you won't be able to tell. That's the thing. A lot of people, they won't be able to tell from looking at the surface, but the plants just won't be doing anything. Good morning, Marshall. And so here's what I did. Whoa, that is hot. That is way unreasonably hot. Guys, today it's just sage. It's just sage and honey. I just went outside, picked some sage, put it into boiling water, and it's just super good. A little bit of local raw honey. So what I did was I removed because online they say there is no control for it. There's nothing you can do. But that doesn't sound right to me. There has to be a way. And so I removed all of the mulch to expose the... Sinister Logo says, found you yesterday. All right. Well, welcome, my friend. So I removed the mulch to expose the soil because I figured that because I had like 3-4 inches of nice deciduous leaves. They were oak leaves. And so I had to remove that because that was like, they were just having a party under there. So I removed it all, exposed it to the baking ultraviolet light. And then I took the Jadam sulfur and the Jadam wetting agent at ridiculous quantities, 3 ounces. It was ridiculous, okay? 3 ounces of the Jadam wetting agent, and I believe 3 ounces of the sulfur, okay? And this is because there was no plants in the ground because they were all dead or they were all just not doing anything. So I was basically going to just carpet bomb the whole place. And so I mixed that up per gallon, and then applied it. And yes, it irritates the crap out of the earthworms. It does. The earthworms start coming up and they go like that for a moment, but then they go back down. There was no dead earthworms. It just irritates their skin when it's in that high of a concentration. It's the sulfur in that high of concentration that they don't like. But it doesn't kill them. So I did that and then just let it rest for a few days, with no plants in the ground. And then just a few days later, I put another eggplant right in the same exact spot. All right. Charles, yes, exactly. Looks like too much goodness engenders the start of evil. The Tao is right again. Of course, the Tao is always right. And yes, the good and the bad are one and the same. They are just opposite ends of the same thing. So too much of the good stuff can be bad. For the earthworms, it was at the moment. But here's the thing. After I let it all bake in the sun for a few days and then came back, I didn't even look in the soil, but I planted eggplants, I planted beets, I planted cabbage, all right up in the mix. That's how I do it, a bunch in the mix. And guys, the eggplant is like 4 feet tall, got like 5 huge, 6 massive eggplants hanging off of it. The beets are just like monstrosities. And I also use some of the Viking nutrients, of course, as more of the test plot. The cabbage is super thick and dense. And so when I pulled up some of the beets and stuff, I pulled up some of the bush beans that I had there just to see. I didn't see a single symphyolin, not one. So the county extension office says there's no cure, not even a chemical, not even a harsh industrial ag chemical. And you have to just basically till your soil until it collapses. So I didn't do any of that, and I added the Jadam stuff, and here we are. It works. I mean, I'll show you when I make the other video how it cured them, because now the stuff is growing luscious. I mean, I put the same exact type of plant right back in the same spot, and now it's growing luscious. So Hoity, hello, says first time catching the live. Look to Nature says, Nate, you ready for some willow cuttings to get your mother tree started for growth hormone for the ranch? My 31-month-old tree is about 20 feet tall. Oh my goodness, that is lovely. Yeah, I can definitely use some of that. Now, I think you want to wait till it goes into dormancy. This is what I'm realizing with you guys sending me cuttings and stuff. I think we want to wait until it's in full dormancy for it to be, so that then it can break its dormancy and at the right time. So yes, I would take some of this. Stefani says the Symphyla can live for years, or 4 years. Yeah, they definitely, nothing was growing in there. I mean, it was just sad. I could just tell it wanted to grow, but the growing tip, they just eat it all. So, let's see. CyberCert says, hi, Nate. Viewing from just north of Toronto. See, you're in the true north. Your sweet potato method gave me a shockingly abundant amount of foliage, even a blossom. Nice. That means it's very happy. Does the presence of the blossom signal a change in the plant? I can't say for sure because I actually haven't had them blossom. So it's very happy though. The plant is very happy if that's the case. So nothing to worry about. Sweet potatoes are one of the crops, okay, that Malcolm says, I need to go. The wife is calling me. Enjoy the weekend. Okay, you too, my friend. So the sweet potato is one of the crops that doesn't die naturally. It doesn't have like a natural life cycle. Well, it has a life cycle, but it's not like a squash. A winter squash, like the Tahitian melon, will grow and then terminate. And the potatoes will grow and then terminate. But sweet potatoes just keep wanting to grow and then grow and then grow and grow and grow because they're a tropical plant. And so there's no time when you have to harvest them, especially because the frost will kill them completely. You're in the north, the real north, and so the frost will totally kill it, just like it does here. But you don't want to let it get to that point. So about 2 weeks before your first frost is going to be coming, you want to harvest them. Yeah. Don't wait any longer than that, because if they get a frost, if the tubers get a frost, they're done. They won't store. So you want to make sure they're not getting a frost. And watch my video on harvesting. I'm going to make another video this year because I found a very good way to cure them. Yeah, even easier, or well, not easier, but even more effective than just setting them in the back of the car. That's what I used to do to get it hot and humid, but this method is way easier. Or just better. It's just better. It's not easier, but better. Tom Bello says, greetings from Point Reyes Station, California. Zone 9 coastal. 50 years gardening in NorCal. Nice. Started with Rodale, Jevons, Alan Chadwick, and Double Dig. Now it's No Dig and Jadam. Double Dig. Now it's No Dig and Jadam. Grandpa Tom. Nice. Nice, Tom. Yes, I was in Northern California for several years. Yes, Southern Humboldt is where I was. In the mountains, we'll say outside of like Garberville. Yeah. On the west side of the 101. So, Mandy says, question, first time making labs. The liquid separated from the cheese, but when gently poured into another container, the cheese breaks up easily and becomes like pudding. What did I do wrong? Not necessarily anything. So was it raw milk or was it the homogenized milk? So the thing is, guys, there is so much variation in these things. I mean, we're working with bacterias and stuff. And so they are in milk, especially if you're getting the good raw milk, then there's going to be a lot of variation. Now, sometimes it will become solid and coagulated. Sometimes it will become not so much. It will just be sort of soft. So here, for example, is the raw milk. Okay, this is the raw milk. And so you see the separation. It's not homogenized, so the cream always rises to the top. And here is the milk, and it's just about started the separation process. And so I'm going to leave it out at room temperature. See, watch the video about raw labs, and that's what you want. But now look, here I've left this one out at room temperature for this one's about a week already. A week, maybe even a week and a half. And see, but some days it'll do it in like 3 days. It'll totally transform. But here, this one's way slower. You see how right now, you see, look at that. Look at that. You see how it jiggles like that? This is not complete. So you just let it go and it will separate more completely. Yes. Now, if you're using pasteurized milk though, then yeah, you want to get it out of there as soon as possible. Raw milk can just stay like that for a long time. It won't go bad. So long as it's good, real raw milk. But the pasteurized milk, as soon as you see that separation, you want to strain it out. Now strain it through a cheesecloth. Okay, so to the original question, strain it through a cheesecloth and then watch the video again and then twist it up and put a weight on it, and that's going to press out like a cheese press. Look up, homemade cheese press or whatever. And that's going to press out the liquid. This is important to press out the liquid because otherwise it can stay like this. Sometimes it just stays like this, so and the difference is, see, like when you get raw milk from like a dairy, from like a one dairy, it's from those cows in particular, that herd. But when you get milk from the store, it can be from hundreds of different herds, bunch of different cows. That's why they have to homogenize it to keep all the creams and the different kinds. There can be over 400 different types of fat molecules, types of fats in raw milk. And so they break that all apart when they do the homogenization. And so that's not what we want, guys. We ultimately want to be drinking the raw milk because the mammal is designed to drink milk. This is a fact. So let's see here. Vicky says, Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Yes, definitely, man. Could you imagine her just digging into that like with a spoon or something? I mean, is that what they're talking about? That she's digging into that? I mean, that's cool. She's hardcore. Little Little Miss Tuffet Muffet is hardcore if that's what she's doing. So, but that's pretty cool. So Stefani says, raw butter and milk, the best. If no local cows, get from raw farms. Yes, and guys, if you need to find raw milk near you, look up the website Get Raw Milk. And they, even if you're in another country, they're worldwide. So getrawmilk.com. Look it up, and it will tell you the closest places to you that you can get the raw milk. Now, here, it is illegal to sell raw milk. And you're saying, okay, well then how do you have it? Well, it's not illegal to purchase a portion of the herd. And then, so I actually don't buy the milk. You see how we're doing it? I actually don't buy the milk. The milk is given to me for free because it's my cow. But I just give him, the farmer, a certain amount of money as like a thank you for taking care of the herd, for boarding the herd. That's what I'm paying him for. The milk is free because it's my herd, it's my cow. You understand? But the money, if there's an exchange, the $8 per gallon is a fee that the farmer is charging me for boarding my portion of the animal. That's how we're doing it. And so every 2 weeks, I go and I meet up with the Amish and I buy a boatload. I buy like 3 gallons of milk, a quart of cream, and a quart of sour cream. And it's just amazing. And some raw cheese. And Two Loco says, LOL, American laws. Yeah, well, yeah. It's cow share. Exactly. It's called a cow share. Herd share is what we call it. Yes, Mom Computer, she understands. So, but here's what I've been doing with it, guys, is this right here. I've been converting it into the raw milk Kefir. And so this stuff has been incredible. It only takes, Look to Nature says, that's an utter catastrophe. We get it. So this is the raw milk Kefir, and it's so alarmingly simple. Once you get the grains, which maybe I'll put a link in the description because this company turned out to be really good. I've been having them for about a month now, and maybe a month and a half. And they've grown significantly. And so they're just like little cottage cheese things. And all you got to do, guys, is take the grains, put them into a jar, and put the raw milk into it. And then cover it like this, and within 12 hours, it's already starting to turn. And then within 24 hours, it's completely ready. And then I strain it off, mix it with some maple syrup or some fruit for a second ferment. And that time I put the cap on it. And the second ferment's only like 4 hours. And then it's ready. It's carbonated, it's fizzy, it's just the most wonderful, magnificent thing. And there's a huge amount of microorganisms in here, way more than yogurt. Way more than yogurt. See, since we're doing gardening puns. So yeah, I can't recommend it highly enough. I just can't recommend it highly enough. Yeah. So William Slater says, having worked on a dairy farm, I don't trust farmers in my state. They would give me the pasteurized milk and tell me it's raw. Yeah, see, that's why I like to tour. We have Amish around here, and they are about it. The Amish are really about it. I mean, they walk the walk, for sure, because they are just the real deal. As far as not using electricity and driving in their buggies and doing everything like the old way, they are for real. And so, and they have farm tours. So we get to go see the farm whenever we want and, see all of this stuff. And it's the real deal. But, okay, a few more things about Kefir, and then I'm going to be quiet about it. But I was doing water Kefir for some time. Okay, here's water Kefir. And I was really liking it. I mean, the water Kefir grains were multiplying by leaps and bounds. I mean, they were like going to take over the kitchen. And it's so delicious, and it tastes sort of like champagne and stuff. But then I let it second ferment, I think too long. Just for like a day and a half, 2 days. with a little bit too much sugar substance involved. And so I took a big drink of it and was like, whoa, I immediately sensed that there was alcohol in it. And guys, it's been 6 years since I have had mind or mood altering substances. I used to partake all the time, but since the new life came into, since I kind of rebirthed into the new life, I have absolutely zero desire whatsoever to take any kind of alcohol or intoxicant of anything like that, because I'm so crystal clear all the time. I mean, I feel so good and so clear of thought and of purpose and all of that all the time now, after many years of practices, that as soon as I drank this stuff, I could sense there was alcohol in it, and I was like, oh no. And I just kind of start feeling like foggy and stuff, and the clarity, because I usually feel razor sharp. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just feel razor sharp. And as soon as I drank this, I just felt dull, and oh no. And so I went and sat down on the couch, and it was kind of, I just immediately started feeling sort of lethargic and just kind of just lost the fire, lost the spark, immediately. And I was like, oh man, I know this feeling. And except I've become way more sensitive to all of that, all right? And so I looked it up, and they were like, yeah, if you second ferment the kefir, water kefir, it can be up to 2% alcohol. And so I was like, oh man, that is unfortunate, because now I'm not going to drink one more drop of it, because I just don't need that nonsense. I don't need that fogginess. Why would I? And so, yeah, that's my unfortunate ending to the water kefir, because it's so easy and so tasty. But if you guys don't mind alcohol, I mean, if you're about that, then I recommend it, because it's easy to brew and there's so many possibilities. But for me, that's just absolutely not anything that I am trying to have in life, because why would I? Yeah, I couldn't. There's no way to improve on the natural perfection of this, of what is already here, and available and clear and just happy and positive. So, yeah, the fogginess was totally real, man. And I'm glad to be back to so what did I do? I went directly into the sauna, and I did 20 solid minutes of drip and sweat. And then I went into the ice bath, the chest freezer ice bath that I got going on downstairs. And went into there and did 2 minutes. Came out and had a little workout and calisthenics. I love to do calisthenics, just body weight exercises. And I was feeling pretty much right as rain after that. So, yeah. And then now it's, but the milk kefir doesn't have any of that. The milk kefir, it's not the same type of grains, the same type of sugar and stuff. So, yeah. Scott Miller says, beer is nature. Yes, it is a natural process, definitely. But does that mean that the human mind needs to consume it? Does that mean it's good at all in any way for the human clarity of thought or for thriving? Not in my experience. No. But that being said, guys, for the previous 30 some years of my life before all of that, I was definitely drinking. I mean, I loved wine and beers, different kinds of, I mean, drinking a lot, so yes. But this life, I wouldn't trade 1 second of the peace and the clarity and all of these things for a little bit of intoxicant that pales in comparison to the fire of nature, of reality. So, okay. Aviator Dave says, Nate, you're living the Japanese lifestyle, hot bath and then the cold soak. Yes, definitely. This is, we're going to call it the Viking lifestyle. How about that? Because we do the hot bath and then the ice bath and then the hot sauna and then the ice bath, but we do breathing exercises and stuff. And actually, guys, I'm just developing I'm going to do 3 courses. This is only for local people, of course, but I'm going to do 3 5-week courses this winter. Each one will be 1 time a week, and they will come here to the Viking headquarters, and we will do the breathing exercises, and then the sauna, which is a wood-fired sauna tent, and then we will go into the ice. Yes, and so I'm really looking forward to that. And if you guys are local and you would like to be into that, let me know. I'll be putting the dates out before too long. Let's see here. Aviator says, Nate, I just finished making cornbread with my kefir milk. I've been processing my grains for over 8 years. I started my grains in Dubai. Oh, that's cool. Dubai is more like the sort of the birthplace. I mean, that's where I'm sure, as you know, that sort of thing came from. Let's see here. Look to Nature says, Nate simplifies it all and breaks down the production of the amendments for the garden. The Jadam book will explain it further than you probably want, Mobius. Maybe not. We're all garden nerds here. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. How many of us are like mad scientists, have little buckets of stuff fermenting? People are like, oh, what's that? And you're like, oh, no, don't worry about it. You wouldn't understand. Because it's just a bucket of slime. It looks like it. If they open it, they're like, what? And you're like, oh, don't touch it. You know, all kinds of buckets. Yeah, Mick. Yeah, man. A number of you guys would be great if you were local. We could do it. But in the future, we will have the school, you know, and stuff like that. It'll be a thing to come to for sure. But for now, we're doing it like locally because we just got to get it happening, you know? Simon Parwalski says, Hi Nate, do you have any knowledge how to get rid of quack grass on a large field? Guys, help our friend out. How do we get rid of quack grass on a large field? Because I don't have a technique other than napalm. Yeah, no, just kidding. But quack grass, it's named that because it will turn you insane into a quack trying to get rid of it. Because, man, I've had these things even under sheet mulching. Sheet mulching would be the only way, really. And so, but even under sheet mulching, it'll pop up and it will use that solar energy to put down a runner that is like 10 feet long until it finds another place to come up. It's insane. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's wonderful for nature, for keeping the soil from eroding. That is what, I mean, it has a purpose in nature. It has a beautiful purpose because it grows anywhere. And so its main thing is to keep the soil bound, to keep the soil, the topsoil there. So it's actually a wonderful thing. But unless we're trying to grow something there, then it is kind of a nightmare. So, yeah. Ms. P says, my neighbors haven't worked up the nerve to ask me about all the buckets. Yeah, same here, actually. My neighbors don't ask me anything about that, ever. Yes, Masabi says, Nate, I feel like an alchemist when in the garden and the kitchen. Absolutely. And in many ways, we are the alchemists. We are the alchemists. And yes, it's a wonderful thing when we're converting. We're just facilitating what nature does already. We are not actually doing anything. We are just creating the conditions for the things to do themselves. The microorganisms to do themselves, the ferments to do themselves, the plants to grow themselves. It all does itself. But it doesn't, so our job is just to make sure that all of the conditions are there when it is necessary. Brian, hello my friend, says fermenting kimchi and sauerkraut today. Many blessings, my Viking friend. Yes, same to you. Look at that, kimchi and sauerkraut. He's watched the videos. He's making the good stuff. Masabi says the quack grass has such strong root systems, so repeated root exposure and burning would be good. Yeah, you can try. You can try all of that. You can definitely try all of that. Now, guys, so I just got some spawn yesterday because we are going to do the mushrooms again. Now, don't use the links in the description. I have to reinvigorate them. But we're going to be doing the lion's mane, guys, because I found a way to grow the lion's mane in the buckets last year. We learned a lot last year. I mean, I had done it previously, but last year I really did it, and we learned a lot. So this year I've distilled it all. Probably just going to make one video about the mushrooms. I grow them in 5-gallon buckets or 2.5 gallon buckets. And guys, they fruit all winter long. So lion's mane, we're going to be growing. But like I said, don't use those links in the description yet, because those are not the right ones. Wait until it'll be like sometime this week. I'll get it sorted out. And then we're also going to do the yellow oysters, and these are going to be. We're also going to do the blue oysters. And so, guys, these things are so delicious. And doing these inside the mushrooms, the lion's mane, and the oysters is really helps with the morale of a long winter of 6 months where nothing is growing. Yes, you can grow the mushrooms indoors, and it's so easy. It takes very little equipment. And so I'll be putting out a video on how to do that. Hopefully you guys are into it. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. Because lion's mane are the big thing now, you know? Adaptogenic mushrooms and all that stuff. And people are selling coffee, you know, or like ground mushrooms and all kinds. They call it adaptogens and all this fancy marketing stuff. But at the end of the day, guys, there is no way that you can improve on what nature has already perfected. And so growing the actual lion's mane and eating it, I mean, not like that, after cooking it, is the best way to get it in there, for sure. So it's just, some people will say, no, it's we use a cold fusion extraction process for the lion's mane, and then it's add 42 different adaptogens and stuff. And that's fine if you for some reason want the little convenience thing. But if you really want the benefits, the cognitive benefits to the myelin sheath in the neurons and all of this, then you need to just grow them and eat them. Okay. So, Mick says, just started king trumpet and chestnut in the basement. Nice. Yes. Let me make sure you put some pictures on the Instagram so I can see that. Rune Master says, hey, I did Nate's sauerkraut recipe, but I added a little homegrown apple and onion. Holy cow, is it good? Whoa. So I think I'm going to do that, because I'm getting a little bit bored with sauerkraut, over the years. A little bit bored. I mean, I'm still going to make some, but okay. Apple and onion, how much did you add? And did you peel them or what? Do you have to salt them as well? When do you add them in? Do you add them after everything is mashed up or massaged, or what? Describe to me a little bit more. Tara S says, is pine needle leaf mold as good as leaf mold? For making the brews, the biological brews, yes. If that is what you have available in your area, then the pine needle leaf mold is going to have just the same type of microorganism, the local indigenous microorganisms. So yes, that is what you want. A lot of people ask that question because they've heard that it's acidic. Pine needles are acidic. But I mean, you guys already know. I'm not even going to go into the big pH rant right now, because you already know that it's not the pine needles that do it. It's the pine tree roots and their relationship with the soil microorganisms that alters the pH of the soil. So you're fine using for the Jadam, for the microbial brews and the fertilizers. Yes, you can use that if that is what is in your area. Then yes. Okay, Big West has got a good idea. It says, Tara, make the pine needle mold separate, then combine with other leaves or other stuff when finished. Then the microbes will be ready to mingle. Not bad, because it's all about diversity. Even when you're gathering it, you want to go to as many different locations as possible, just a handful from all these different locations. That's ideal. I mean, in the same woods even, and so. Yes, Melanie says, did I miss it? Nate, will you be selling the mushroom grow kits? If not, where can I get what you are showing? Small container garden. Yes, I will be. I know I shouldn't even have showed them yet, but I just want to get you guys as primed for it. But I'm working out the links to the stuff. So they will be in all of the videos sometime this week. But yes, don't get it yet until by next week. Absolutely, for sure. Probably actually by the next video I put out, which will be on Wednesday. By that time, I will have all of the new links in the description, and you'll be able to get the exact thing. Now, this is spawn though. So they make some that are actual grow bags where you just put the X in the hole and it grows right out of the bag. Those are good. And you can do that to get your feet wet and to experience it. But this is actual spawn. So we're going to take this, we're going to sterilize some straw, which is very simple. It's just boiling it basically. I'll show you all that. And then we're going to take chunks of this and inoculate the straw. It's such a cool process. And then from this, we're going to have about 5 5-gallon buckets fruiting from this one thing. Or 4, 5-gallon buckets. Even 3 if you want to make sure that it doesn't fail. You can go more intense. So yeah, I'm just getting you guys primed for that, but it's still growing season, so we still got time. So by next week though, all of that stuff will be ready. Okay. So thank you for asking. Elizabeth Hendricks looks like she's ready to grow some mushrooms as well. Mobius says, perfect. I finally chop all at the same time with cabbage. Ooh, did he say where? Okay. Rune Master says, I added them at the very beginning. I did just 1 small apple, sweet, and 1 small onion for 2 small heads of cabbage. Everything's small, huh? So just enough to add a little hint. Okay, nice. I like that. It would add some sweetness, take away some of the tangness. Yes? Aviator Dave says, Nate, are you going to do any mycology work on your own? So you mean like spore prints and not at this time, because everything that I'm doing right now is for you guys, is so that I can show you guys how to do stuff. So right now, making spore prints and making our own grain spawn and stuff like that is too complex for most people. And it's just too involved. So although I did back in the day, I used to do all of that, but they weren't these kind of mushrooms. And we're talking 18 years ago, something like that. They weren't these kind of mushrooms. And then we were doing them, injecting them with little syringes of liquid spores we bought from Holland and stuff. We had to do the old PF tech with the mason jars and stuff and the pressure cooker. That's all, that's way too involved for most people. So the thing that I love about this stuff is that it's way, way stronger of varieties. And so it's already colonized this stuff. So we can just take this and colonize the buckets with it through the procedure, but it's much more simple. And so people will have good success with this. So if you guys want to grow mushrooms this winter, get your mind in that place, and by next week, I will have all the links set up for you so that you can get exactly what you want, whatever kind of mushrooms you want, all that good stuff. And you'll get, I think you get a 10% discount, something like that. So, yeah. Aviator Dave says, Nate, if you need help, I have 18 years growing mushrooms. Thank you very much for the offer, my friend. Yes, that may come to pass. Creative Soil says, I kind of live outside. Maybe I can grow mushrooms in the fall or spring. The temperature extremes in my shelter is conducive to plant life. Is conducive or is not conducive? Creative Soil, where are you at then? VA Green, working on 100-gallon raised beds for next year. Can I use leaves and dead logs to fill the bottoms without any adverse effects? Absolutely not. Guys, here's the thing about using the grow bags. And now ask me how I know this. I know this 100% from experience. So if you add with the grow bags, okay, it's different. If you, okay, I want to answer this question real quick because I've already seen it, but I'll come back to that. Look to Nature says, does anyone know if a Tahitian butternut exists? I think my seeds were mislabeled. They do not say melon. That's okay. They mean Tahitian melon. It's a butternut. It's in the butternut gang. It's just basically a butternut with a neck that's 5 times longer than the butternut. So yeah, it's the same thing. Don't worry. But filling the grow pots, the grow bags, You do not want to add the material in the bottom that is going to break down, because when it does, if you put soil on top of that, then you will, that stuff will decompose and the bags will just collapse. It will just collapse. You don't want to do hugelkultur type. You don't want to, not with the bags. Now, if you have boxes, a rigid structure like the corrugated metal, or if you have, various many kinds, then yes, add wood and stuff like that to the bottom. Hugelkultur type stuff. But if you're using grow bags, I don't recommend it, because they will collapse and they will look ugly and they will like fall down and stuff. So yeah, we actually had to, at my mom's garden, because the Viking mom's garden's got to look good. And so we actually, because I did it like that at first, and then they collapse and they look all pathetic, So I was like, okay, well, we got to redo them. So for Mother's Day, we all got together and we did it's an incredible amount of manual labor. And we went from 100-gallon grow pots to 150-gallon grow pots, and put the soil in there. And I put in 2 liters in each of the 150-gallon grow bag. I put in 2 liters, which is 2 of these, 2 quarts for the Americans, of the Viking nutrients, the Viking granular nutrients, and my stuff I'm developing for you guys. And that's it. And then from there out, it was just water. That's it. And guys, her stuff was Jurassic. Her tomato plant is healthier than mine here. It's just unbelievable. Her tomatoes are incredible, and they're still going strong. And the cabbages are super fat and dense, and it's just amazing. And the beets were huge. Just everything did really, really well. And but also I set up for her a sprinkler system on a timer. So I set up the sprinkler, and I had it go on at from 11 o'clock to midnight every night. It was about 40 minutes, I think, every night. And so because them bags will dry out. But with that, it's carefree. She never had to fertilize. She never had to water. She just had to go out there and harvest the produce, which even that she has a tough time doing sometimes. So, because I know my mom listens to these. My mom puts the playlist, the live Q&A playlist on during the day when she leaves and stuff, because she said it calms the dog, Macy, the dog. And of course it does, because Macy loves me. So, hi Macy. That's so funny. Let's see here. What else have we got going on? Big West says fish hydrolysate, or FAA, is good for nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, amino acids, and promotes fungal growth. It is the first thing to add to hugelkultur, in my opinion. That's a pretty good statement right there. I can't disagree with any of that, because fish hydrolysate, or the Jadam fish, or the FAA, which I think I will still show you guys how to make the FAA, because we need to start making that for next year. FAA is actually really, if I'm being totally honest, my favorite of all the fish ferments. It just takes so long, and it is a little bit more complex, and you have to use a lot of brown sugar. But otherwise, Link says, LOL, I could see Macy's ears perk up. Me too. Definitely. And she's kind of in the sunset of her life, Macy, the dog. She's a little dog, and so she's kind of a little bit blind, a little bit deaf and stuff. And she just likes to relax. And so just relax, Macy. The FAA is the fish amino acid, Mick. He says, what's the FAA? It's the fish amino acid made in the KNF tradition. And that is basically, well, I'll make a video showing you. It's other steps, but basically you're just layering the fish with huge amounts of brown sugar, basically. And then through the osmotic pressure and all of this, the nutrients and the amino acids become extracted. But you also want to add, see, they say in KNF, they talk about adding IMO, 4. You want to add the final stage of the IMO to the FAA to get the right type of indigenous microorganisms happening. But my experience with all of that stuff over the years is that high quality leaf mold is better than FAA or than IMO. In my opinion and experience, it's more alive and it's less processed. and it's just better. And so I will show you guys how to do it with the leaf mold. Okay, so look out for the video, but it takes a solid 6 months. Don't even consider using it until next year. You know, that's why we're gonna go do some fishing, and we're gonna go do some fishing in the creeks. I might go carp spearing with Rusty Reed the Turtle Man if we can make it happen this year, because we've got invasive carp around here, so we can go in a longboat and spear them with a trident. It's awesome. And then we, do that. Brian A. Ree says Vitamix is having a sale. Which machine is the best? Ooh, I think I put a link in the description to that one, except that as soon as this video is over, I'm going to go up and make sure that the right one is in the description, because it's the I think it's the 5200 one. But if you're going to get it from Amazon, use my link, because it doesn't cost you anything additional and I get a small commission. So that would be great. And it boosts my Amazon, because I'm part of the Amazon thing. So yeah, I will immediately after this, I will put in the show notes a link to that exact one. Okay. But let's see, somebody says, Sharon says, Nate, every day you inspire me to play in the dirt. You have my love. All right, Sharon, thank you very much. That is wonderful to hear. Let's see, CyberCert says, he's talking to Peter, says, Nate will tell you that hydroponics are okay, but fall far, far short of growing things naturally in soil where all the diverse nutrients are available to the plant and therefore to us. Listen to that. Somebody has been paying attention, because that is like word for word what I would say, in fact. And when people ask me about hydroponics, I say, well, it's great if you have to. It grows stuff, yeah, no problem. But it cannot compare to the natural process of using the life in the soil to give you the life force and the nutrients and the minerals. See, it's basically the same thing. Let's see, Spreading Ideas says, FAA, Jadam method, easy, effective, and smells awful. Yes, so the FAA is different than the Jadam. The Jadam method is different, and it is much easier, and it is very effective, and it does smell awful. But the thing I like about the FAA is that it's far more concentrated. It's just so much more, because it's actually what I use in my aerated compost teas that I've been doing all season, because that's what I used to do in California. So when I make that video for you guys in the springtime, you will want to have the FAA pretty much. And everyone's like, oh, great. Now we got another thing we have to make. But it's all good. You can use the Jadam stuff just as well. You'll just use a little bit more. Val says, haha, piking Viking. You mean pikey Viking, like from England? Those kind of guys? I lived with some pikeys. What do I do to avoid it? Okay. Aphids. Mary says, my chard gets aphids. What do I do to avoid it next year? Am I planting them too close? Well, I'm not sure, because I can't see your chard, but I would do some trap crops. So plant calendulas and marigolds all over the place, literally. Plant them all up in the mix, and that they tend to go there instead. But if you do that and still they are there, then you can use the wetting agent. Spray it with the wetting agent. The Jadam wetting agent at about 2 ounces a gallon will dissolve aphids. It's miraculous. Mick says, I want more things to make. It's fun. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Especially, it's just like it's just such a process when feeling the cycle of life, seeing the decomposition of the fish or whatever fertilizer you're making, the decomposition, the microbial activity. You open it up and it's all just gone. How did it liquefy? Nothing has been into the bucket. I didn't do anything else, but it's totally liquefied, the bones and everything. And it's all because of this army of microscopic, can't even see them, living beings. They're living creatures, these microorganisms. And so, and each one of them has a life force toroidal energy sphere around them as well. It's just incredible. And so working with that, and then you put that into the soil, and then the plant absorbs that. And the plant is its own toroidal sphere like this. And it is all just like fractals and incredibly giving of life. And so then when you harvest this stuff and you get it and wow, man, I cut these things in half and immediately tears start coming. Tears of joy because it's so beautiful, but also because of the sulfuric compounds here in the alliums, because we got thriving soil, because we've made it that way. Otherwise, it's typically here is just Indiana clay. You hear that all the time. It didn't used to be like that hundreds of years ago. This was just an endless expanse of old growth forest with little meadows here and there. But just lots of good thousands of years of rich topsoil activity and stuff. So in just a few hundred years, we've totally wiped that out. Totally, all of the rivers are full of muck. Our rivers here are brown as wood, as brown as clay water. And I know for a lot of you, like in Northern California, that would be shocking because those rivers are still crystal clear. You can see directly to the bottom. I drank out of a lot of those. But here, they are like mud water. I mean, they are mud water because that's our topsoil, just going away. And everyone around here is like, well, that's natural. They pass through clay beds. That is not natural, guys. It's not. That is all of our topsoil just vanishing. And so at this point, though, when people say, well, around here we have clay soil, what they mean is by this point in the destruction process of our natural environment, that now we have just clay. And so that's true. And so all around here is just this mucky clay that doesn't want to grow stuff very well anymore. But through the practices, you can breathe the life back into it. You can breathe the life back into it and get it alive and happening once again. Because clay actually has a lot of minerals in it. So it can be great if the life is there to convert the minerals into a plant available form. I don't know what got me started on that rant, guys. So let's see here. Christopher says, hi, Nate. I have a Strelitza plant in a pot. Somehow the height of the soil level raised by an inch over 3 days. How come? I'm not sure what kind of plant that is, but you might want to look for rodents that have burrowed into it. That can happen. You might want to look for a chipmunk or a rat that has burrowed into it. If not, then maybe it's producing some kind of tuber or some kind of thing. You'll have to check and make sure. But I have seen that. Out here in my beet bed, I went there one day and looked at it, and the soil level had just raised by a couple of inches. And so I got closer and looked and everything, and sure enough, there's a huge tunnel to a rat. So nobody likes a rat. I had to trap it and dispatch him from this incarnation. So TC says, question, could you use dandelion blossoms as a bloom fertilizer? I don't see why not. Yeah. I don't know if they are particularly high in the bloom nutrients. I would imagine they probably are because they are a bloom. They are blooming. I don't have experience with it. And Paul says, hi, Nate. I did some feed for my lawns using grass cuttings and leaf mold, and it's turned into liquid, smelly, but the lawns love it. Yes, they will love it, guys. They will definitely love it. And it is very putrid, the smell, but don't worry. Let's see here. So the Elizabeth says, lots of thumbs up. Yes, that's what we want, guys. And when you're watching these or when you're watching the videos, just leave as many comments as you can think of. Whatever comes to your mind, just share your thoughts or your experience. All of that helps the channel, helps grow the channel. And this is all really good, because we want more people to be exposed to all of this way of life. But look, here's what happens when you forget and you leave your potatoes in a place where they're getting sunlight. Okay, these came out of the ground perfectly white. I mean, perfectly, the color of Yukon Gold potatoes. But then I mistakenly left them for some time. I just don't know what I was even thinking about it. In a place where they were getting some light, not even direct light, but all of them turned lightly green like this. And that's not what you want, okay? Because they start producing, what is the thing? No, it's not chlorophyll. It's something else. It's melon. No, I forget exactly what the name of it is, but it is poisonous to the human, and so these are still fine. I'm still eating these for sure. But if you just leave them unchecked, they will turn just bright neon green, basically. Solamine. Yes, I was going to say something else. But yes, solanine. Yeah, because they're in the Solanaceae family, right? So they're producing like solanine, which is like a nightshade kind of poison. And so the green tomatoes are no good. That being said, this one is still edible. I'm still going to eat this one for sure. This one as well, but they just got like a slight green hue. I don't know if you can tell from the camera, but that was unfortunate. I'm glad I caught it in the right time and put them back into the basement. Tammy Hadler says, "Hi Nate, I'm in southern Minnesota, zone 5. It is my first year growing ginger. Can you please help me on how to harvest it? Many thanks, my friend." Yes, Tammy. So, how do you harvest ginger? It's actually incredibly easy. You just take some of you can harvest it at any point, but you need to do it before the frost comes. So you just dig into the earth. I'll probably do a video on it here in a couple weeks. You just dig into the earth and feel the rhizome, all right? Okay, because the ginger is not a root. Remember that. The ginger is a rhizome. It grows horizontally across the soil, just under the surface of the soil. It puts roots downwards and shoots upwards, but more rhizomes basically outwards. And so you can just dig in there like that, and it breaks real easy. It'll break off. And if you just want to break a certain chunk off, you can do that with the shoots, the big leaves and everything. And then you can cut off. Watch that's right. Watch the cabbage cooking video that I just made. And I show you guys how I harvest some of my ginger because I use it for that recipe. So watch the video I just made about how to cook the cabbage. And you will see in there exactly what I'm talking about. And then that will answer better than I can describe right now. You can just see it, and it will answer all the questions. So, and you can use those. Remember, the ginger plant. Every cell of the ginger plant has or all of the tissue has the ginger essential oils in it. So you can use the roots and the leaves for tea. I love it. Or you can boil it and make kombucha with it, or if you want to make, water kefir with it. So yeah, you can do all of that. Whoa, Stefani says, "I hear a cricket there. I have so many." That's incredible you can hear that, because it's quiet even here. But the windows are open. We're at that time of year where you can just leave the windows open day and night, which is great. Daryl says, "Hello from Brisbane, Australia. Hello from the Midwest of USA." Guys, I make yerba mate tea like every day. I love it. I absolutely love it. And so I put a link in the description to the one that I have settled on over the years. That's the best quality for price and all of that that I have found. So I put a link in the description, and this stuff is fantastic. It doesn't give you any of the effects like coffee does as far as the shakes or like the indigestion or any of that kind of stuff. It's just raw, good energy. And so it's very energizing, but very grounding at the same time. VA Green, $10. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, "Thanks for helping me avoid that mistake, Nate. Maybe I'll just try some leaf mold, clay, and rock as fill." Yes. But whatever you do, though, remember that you don't want to put the leaf mold, you're talking about the bags, you don't want to put the leaf mold below the soil stuff, because the leaf mold will collapse, unless it's leaf mold soil, unless it's already turned to soil. But you will put that stuff on top. Yes. That's the thing about bags, and that's the crux, the catch of using the bags, is that you have to basically fill them with real soil, like for the most part. So, yeah. Yes, this is how you pretty much want to store your garlic. I just cut the roots off like that, cut the neck off, leave some of the neck, and it's pretty much, that's it. It's good. It's good to go all winter long. And this is how you want to store the onions. You know, you pretty much just cut the roots off, leave some of the neck, and it's going to store all winter. You do want to cut the roots off though, guys, because otherwise, if the roots are all straggly like this, it will seek out the moisture in the air, and it can make it break dormancy sooner than it otherwise should. So, and guys, remember every Monday at 10:30 Eastern time, I do a live Q&A on the Thrive Like a Viking channel. That where we talk about things like mindset, you know, having the mindset of resiliency. It's basically a resilience training channel. There's all different kinds of practices that we can do because this is creating food resiliency in our food supply, which is very important. But also in our spiritual and mental and cognitive and physical resilience. All of this matters as well in the years to come, definitely. So you want to do the things that will make you as resilient as possible. And what does that mean? That means able to take impact, or able to take pain, or able to take, whatever comes, just able to take whatever comes in stride. And this is a huge skill to learn, my friends. So yeah, you can check that out. And let's see, Spreading Idea says, in my country, there is only white sugar. Can I add molasses, dates to make brown sugar for FAA? No. Nope, you don't want to do that. So just use the white sugar. It's okay. If there's only white sugar, then just use that. Don't be adding anything else because you need that osmotic pressure. So I will show you and I will address that in the video that I make here before long. So thank you for asking that question because I wouldn't have even thought of that. I thought for sure everybody would be able to get brown sugar. But yes, you can use just white if you need to. Don't be adding molasses or dates or any of that kind of stuff to it, because that's going to mess up the mechanism. Mandy says, question, why people plant tree on top of hugelkultur mound? Doesn't tree grow big and heavy and will topple over once stuff in the hugelkultur decomposes? I don't have experience with planting trees on top of the hugelkultur mound, so I can't say for sure. I don't know. If anybody has done that, why have you done it? Planted a tree on top of the mound. I've done hugelkultur, but not planted the tree on top of it. Yeah, Mobius says white sugar plus a little molasses equals brown sugar. Yeah, sort of. In theory, yes, it is a little bit, but you can't just remake it. It doesn't work like that. You can't just add some molasses and then have brown sugar. It just doesn't work like that. So believe me in that as well. Of course, I've tried this, of course, and it turns into a soupier. It's not what you want. You want the granular crystals there when you're making it, and I will explain that in the video. Grant says, I just bought 5 acres of sand plain full of quack grass. I'll do a little garden and expand so it does not drive me crazy. 5 acres of sand plain full of quack grass. Wow. Where are you at, Grant? Where is that at? Let's see. Peter says, boil that cabbage down, Nate. Boil that cabbage down. Boil the cabbage down? Man, didn't you see how I made it in that video? Oh my goodness. That is, boiled cabbage is pretty good. Yeah, no problem. I definitely make it. I stir fry it all the time. I make it different ways, but those cabbage steaks are amazing. I'll tell you that for sure. Carla says, yes, thank you for asking the question about the brown sugar adding molasses to the white sugar. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, it's not going to work, guys. Northern Michigan. Okay. Like UP? The real Northern Michigan? Common Link says, a bear knocked over my fish fertilizer. The bucket is only a quarter full for the last 4 months. Is it still viable or should it always be filled to the top with water? Should I just dig a hole? I assume and pour it? Then no. It is still probably fine. So if it's a quarter full, that'll be fine. Just whatever it is. It's just the decomposition process. So it will be okay. Oh yeah, Grant says cherry growing country. Yes, like Traverse City and stuff. I saw cherries all over the place. Jay Brammer says, thanks for the great info. Gotta get ready, heading to camp. All right. Hello, Taida. Says, hiya, friends. Muddy Paw says, sand and quackgrass. Chickens, bro. Chickens. Yes, definitely get them chickens. Mick, $20. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate the tip. Yes, it would be great if you were closer. We could do that breathing technique. You guys could be part of the in-person course that we're doing this year, this winter. We're going to do 3 5-week courses. You learn the breathing techniques, the mindset, and to go into the cold, the ice bathing, and the sauna therapy as well. All of that is going to be included. So, yep. And let's see here. Elizabeth Hendricks says, Thrive Channel has definitely positively changed my life. So interesting, all that I've learned from you so far, and reading As a Man Thinketh. Fabulous. All right. Thank you for sharing, my friend. So Elizabeth is finding good benefit in the Thrive Channel because we talk about things that are all about thriving. And she referenced the book, which I recommend to everyone. And in fact, I have actually recorded an audiobook of me reading this for you guys, As a Man Thinketh, by James Allen, written in 1902. Very fundamentally, powerfully transformational. And it's a good place to start. It's a very thin book, but it's very profound. DNT, $5. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, thanks for everything, Nate. I just wanted to let you know I'm bringing out the ice bath for the season after I'm done in the garden today. All right. So you're a regular ice bather then. So hopefully you contribute, or you are on the, I think you are, on the Thrive Like a Viking channel, right? Because the last episode we did was Introduction to Cold Training, which it sounds like you need no introduction. But as we get deeper into it, it'll be great for you to share your experiences with others. CyberCert says, how to preserve beets. If I just leave them out, they get soft. In the fridge, they are fine, but I thought they wouldn't need refrigeration. You have to keep them moist. You can get a thing of Pro Mix, peat moss, so long as it's like just peat moss, or some people use sand. I haven't used sand because that just sounds terrible to have sand all over the place in my food storage, you know. But the peat moss works good. And you just have to slightly moisten it. Not a lot. You just moisten it a bit, and you can layer them. But it has to be in like something that is breathable. Okay, so I did mine in these totes, but I drilled holes in the top and in the side. Not a ton, but enough. And you have to pre-moisten the peat moss or the sand, whatever you're using. And then you will lay down a layer of the peat moss, and then a layer of beets, and then like a 4-inch layer of peat moss, and then a layer of beets. And none of the beets are touching each other. And then another layer of the peat moss, moistened peat moss, and then a layer of beets. And then you will put that into the basement or someplace relatively cool, as cool as possible without freezing. If it freezes, everything's done. It'll turn to mush. But they will stay for several months that way, guys. They will stay a long time that way because they think they're in the ground. And so the beet is a biennial. It's meant to overwinter in some places. And then to sprout new life in the spring. And so it's a storage of solar energy. And so you can store beets, carrots, and potatoes this way as well. Although potatoes is not really necessary. But yeah, in moistened peat moss. That's how you store them, and it works really well. So we are, if anyone's got some burning questions, guys, we're sort of approaching the end. We still got a few minutes, though, but there's this festival today called the Johnny Appleseed Festival here in Fort Wayne. This is where the grave of Johnny Appleseed, John Chapman, is right here in Fort Wayne. So it's even our mascot for our little minor league baseball team. They're called the Tin Caps. And it shows, because Johnny Appleseed supposedly wore a pot on his head, you know, and so we're the Tin Caps, but all the other people just call us the Pot Heads, you know, which like nobody saw that coming. Our mascot literally has a pot on his head. And so, yeah, welcome to the Potheads. No. Let's see here. William Slater says the name is chitin. Scott Miller says smoking greens, Nate. Try lump coal. Cast iron stops dripping salts. Can use for biochar. Make a basting brush with that. Rosemary. Ooh, yeah. Basting brush with the rosemary. Hogue says, I'm not seeing the yerba mate link. Ooh, I need to revisit that. So I will do it as soon as I'm done with this video. I will do that. What was the other link that I was going to do as soon as the video was done? I forget exactly. Maybe it was the mate, or maybe it was something else. What was it? So, yes. North Sport? Yeah, I don't know if it was the North. No, I don't think so. I was going to do it as soon as I was done here. Oh, the blender, the Vitamixer. That's right. I was going to do the exact. That's right. Thank you, Alan. I was going to do the exact Vitamixer that I am recommending because they are on sale for now. Yes. So as soon as this is over, in like 5 minutes, I will do the Vitamixer and the this stuff link, and I'll just put it right at the top. But I'm making an Amazon store, so so you guys can just go to the Amazon store, and everything that I use, I will put links in the description, or I will put in that Amazon store, so that all the stuff that you see in any of the videos virtually will go into that, and you can just see. All right. Hogue says, you're a busy guy. Oh, you're not kidding. Yes. Vicky says, I remember Granny Clampett saying she could cook something, but first she needed a little pot. Oh, that's a little bit before my time. I think you're talking about the Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah. Pam says, oh my gosh, time has flown. Thank you, Nate, for another great live get-together. Yes, you are very welcome, my friend. I'm glad you're here. Let's see here. Stefani says, my beets are wimpy, loose, soil loose. What can I do in my raised garden? I don't know. I would have to see. Will using crabs instead of fish for hydrolysate still serve the same purpose? The market across the street from me has lots of dead local Maryland blue crabs every week for me. I would not make the hydrolysate with it. It's not going to work in the same way. The hydrolysate is an enzymatically digested fish protein. That's what you need to use. It will digest it nice and fast, and it will make it so that it's nice and usable pretty fast. But the crab shells are wonderful to use, but not with the hydrolysate. So you want to just use the crab shells in the Jadam method. So just take the crab shells, put them into a huge bucket or barrel, add a few scoops or a few shovel loads of the leaf mold, fill it the rest of the way with the water, and put the lid on. That is going to take a long time to digest, though, but it's going to be very high in all kinds of good nutrients. Yes, chitin, what you guys are talking about. Also, magnesium, and also the calcium, and also all kinds of good stuff. And you can also throw some flesh in there of some kind if you have the crab flesh, you know, if you got the whole crabs or whatever kind of stuff that they're using. So, yes. Yes. Vicky says, it was the Beverly Hillbilly. Oh, the Beverly, right, yeah, the Beverly Hillbillies, yes. And she meant a small saucepan, of course. Obviously, she was misunderstood, obviously. Grizzly Adams says, have a good afternoon. William Slater, don't forget to thumbs up the video. Yes, thank you. Thanks, Nate. Have a great day. Yes. Yep, we still got 2 minutes, though, guys. So what is your burning question? What would you like to say? So Brian says, Nate, as you grow, it looks like you are going to need an assistant. Yeah, I know. At some point, definitely. We are not at that point yet, but once the the book is written and stuff like that. I mean, once the book is ready for publishing and all of that, and then we start sort of eyeballing potential spots for the land, all of that. That it'll be about that time then when some kind of a assistant will come, at least in like filming stuff or maybe editing in some way, but also like, you know, there's just so many things to do, you know, already. So there's all kinds of stuff, yeah. Daniel says, I want the book. Oh, definitely. You guys can all get the book here. Hopefully it'll be ready by next year. Spreading Ideas says, so we can use straw as a substrate for lion's mane. No, we cannot. It doesn't want to grow on straw. It wants to grow on wood pellets, like from the store, you know, that people get for the wood burners, the pellet burners and stuff. That's the kind that we'll be using. Okay. William says, garlic planting for zone 8. Someone asked. I don't know about zone 8, guys. So I would say do it around Halloween to Thanksgiving time. Brent says, is it better to top dress a bed with compost in the fall or early spring? Early spring. If it's finished compost, early spring. If it's manure, fall time. So, okay, guys. I think that this is it. We have reached the 90 minutes. And Pam says, yes, I would love a signed copy of your book. Oh, definitely. I'll sign as many as you guys want. For sure. At first, definitely. So, okay, guys, this has been a good one. So I appreciate you hanging out. And I am going to get on with the day. And you guys can too. And I will see you guys here next Saturday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Also, for those of you interested, on Monday on the Thrive Like a Viking channel, I will see you there at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So until then, keep on planting. You can keep planting stuff, guys. Remember, still you can put down the seeds. They might just be like baby greens, but that's okay. Just keep planting.